the Gartness famous cakes. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
I could tell that Bridget cared about Dylan greatly. She told me as much herself. My interview with her felt very guarded. Many of her answers weren't very straightforward, and she seemed to beat around the bush a bit. I doubted Bridget knew the things Dylan was telling me about her. I wondered if her answers would change, if she knew the things he was saying. So I read her word for word the transcript of this interview with Dylan.
Man, a fucking trashy ass trailer park junkie. Seen this shit on news. Called Crime Stoppers thinking she was gonna get a fucking reward.
I wish he could be on the call with us. I mean, I've always known that Dylan used me for, situations. So it doesn't surprise me that that's said about me. It hurts my feelings, but
Things changed in my conversation with Bridget after she heard this. I could tell that she was hurt by what he had said, and slowly she began to divulge more information. I could also tell that she still cares for him. She married his brother, Justin Glass, who's also in prison, and has intimate knowledge of the rough upbringing of the two men. I asked Bridget outright the question I really came to get answered. Do you think Dylan played any role in Justin Gaines' disappearance in London?
at first, no, not really. But then, I mean, at this point, Dylan's, admitted to it. But of course, I guess they can't charge him because they don't have a body. But
Well, he's now saying that his confession was a lie.
that's weird. Too much adds up, Just from what I've been told, after it happened, supposedly, it really fucked with Dylan's head, and he was, at that Andy's house, so, I think it was, downstairs, kind of off the garage. They said Dylan was just, sitting that room and just kind of, be lost in space because of what happened.
Who said that?
Shane.
Do you think Shane has some crimes?
Me being honest, yes.
And again, Shane's name enters the picture. I have a feeling this guy could be more important to solving this case than we thought.
He's more important than what any of us have gotten, I think.
When investigators learned that Dylan was in Shane's truck, the two were allegedly looking for a place to hide out and a pawn shop. They wanted to search out to see if Justin had ever inside. By the time this information about Dylan and Shane came to light, though, Shane was in a local jail and his truck had disappeared. Bob Poulneau was determined to track him down.
I got a tip. He was being let out of jail on a certain day, so I waited for him and followed him to his vehicle.
That old-fashioned PI work is what gave Bob the jump on Shane. You heard some of the interview in the last episode.
Like, if I just put an end to all this, if I heard anything or knew anything, I'd come forward, but I don't. And I know Dylan didn't have anything to do with it.
Now, in the conversation, Shane tells Bob that he has no knowledge of Justin Gaines or what happened to him. He sticks up for Dylan and says he's absolutely innocent. After his encounter with Shane, Bob learned he no longer owned the vehicle and that it had been salvaged. He caught intuition, but this stood out as very odd to Bob.
And I called every salvage lot, every possible entity that would salvage or auction.
Knowing that Andy Pickett's van and houseboat were both MIA, Bob knew finding this truck was extremely important. After extensively searching, he found the man who bought the truck at an auction. The title listed the truck as having been totaled.
It was very suspicious because I don't know why the insurance company and the owner, the new owner of the truck said he had no idea how it was ever totaled. He said essentially there was nothing wrong with the truck. It just had some dents. And Shane told me, when I asked him about the dents in the truck or totaling of it, he said he hit a deer and he hit elbows.
Finding this vehicle was a small victory for investigators. If there was any evidence that proved that Justin Gaines had been in it, the case closed. The truck was towed to Gwinnett County Police Headquarters and forensically processed, but there was no evidence Justin had been in the vehicle. Why did these people all get rid of their vehicles and even a houseboat immediately after Justin disappeared? I mean, how many coincidences can we look past? From what I'm told, Shane is a pretty rough and tumble kind of guy, even though he sounded like a frightened kid and looked audio weird. He's 6'4", 300 pounds. He's been in and out of jails for years on various drug, battery, and burglary charges. Bob Poulneau previously told me that when Shane was being interviewed in the early days of the investigation, he seemed to get emotional when Justin's mother, Erica, was mentioned. And I've heard recordings that seemed to reinforce that. But that was years ago, and law enforcement was coming down hard on him and Dylan. It's enough to intimidate almost anyone. When I spoke to Carl Sims recently, he told me a similar story regarding Shane's show of emotion.
I've been retired almost 3 years now. So about a year after I retired, after I left the county, I was actually in Walker County in civilian clothes in the Home Depot shopping for something. As I was in the aisle, I felt somebody standing next to me staring at me. I just did that thing, and then I moved and I turned and looked. And initially, I knew I didn't. tears came inside. And he started crying. He says, I can't. I said, I don't understand what that means. He says, you can't or you won't. He says, I just can't. And I said, Shane, you look like you want to say something. I said, you know I'm retired. I'm not even on the case anymore. I said, you just want to get something off your chest. You want to talk to me. And he just looked at me and goes, maybe one day I will. We got together in Home Depot. I heard word from him again.
There just had to be something more to Shane. Why does his name keep coming up? Why did he get so emotional for all this time discussing Justin Gaines?
But now he's being deceitful. We know he's being deceitful. Well, why is he being deceitful? So I never could pin Shane down.
Suddenly I'm struck with dose of reality. If an experienced investigator, Carl Sims, can't get Justin like Shane, so quiet. It astounds me that so many people in this case can be part of a crime like this and not have talked, given themselves or someone else up, or flat out just made a stupid mistake big enough to result in an arrest for